I will say, I really don't think there is any other company that could even attempt to put something like this on. Forget the scale. Just getting all of these different leagues together, I think would be physically impossible for anyone else to do.
That's it. That's my intro.
Hey, I'm Amanda. I'm professionally curious and I talk for a living, and you're watching Swell Entertainment, the channel where I tell you about whatever I'm obsessed with every week. And this week we are talking about Fanatics Fest. According to their website, they call themselves the world's #1 sports fan festival. And frankly, having been, I can't really argue with that. Now, I'm not currently in New York. I'm actually currently in San Francisco because I only went to Fanatics Fest for 2 days so that I could then come to San Francisco for Open Sauce. There was not going to be an Open Sauce video, but I wanted to give context for why I am filming this Sunday night and why I am not in New York City, okay? Yes, I did go to one event in New York City and then flew to San Francisco to go to another event. I'm insane. But you knew that if you're subscribed. If you're new, hi. Unfortunately, this is normal for me. I'm crazy. I like events. It's a whole thing.
But really quick, let me take a second to tell you about the sponsor for today's video, Beyond Meat. I've been really focused on trying to make healthier choices, not just for myself, but also for the planet. And though I am by no means cutting out meat entirely from my diet, not buying meat for when you're eating at home actually can have quite the impact on your dietary carbon footprint. I'm sure you've heard a lot of things about Beyond Meat, like how plant-based meat is processed and therefore automatically unhealthy. Not all processed foods are created equal, like for example, whole grain bread, tofu, hummus, cottage cheese, things that are generally considered healthier for you. Those are processed foods. You don't have to be vegetarian or vegan to try out a Beyond Meat product. You might even just be trying to add more plant-based options into your routine. For myself, I really like implementing Beyond Meat products into recipes that I already have made staples of my diet. I have a handful of recipes that I love making and I stick to them. So like for my French onion pasta recipe, where I would normally add in something like a ground turkey or beef, I use their ground Beyond Beef instead. I have a bunch of leftover veggies like zucchini and squash from other recipes, but I want to use before they start getting sad in my fridge. I chop them up and I do a little saute. I used their Brat Original Beyond Sausage. These had a great base flavor, so it actually sucked up the miso ginger sauce that I made for this very well. Whether you're looking for some new plant-based items to work into your diet or you want something new to whip out at the summer barbecue, you can go ahead and scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description box to try out some of my favorite Beyond Meat products. And thank you to Beyond Meat for sponsoring this video.
I've been trying to go to Fanatics Fest for the last 2 years, if that. Problem is that I don't know how they market it if you are not following Fanatics Fest. What would normally happen is I'd be like, oh my God, that's right, I gotta look up for it. And then what would happen is streams would come out, like clips from streams would hit my feed of like streamers getting into fights with professional fighters in like the UFC octagon that they have. So that's how I would learn that I missed Fanatics Fest. I had not seen any reviews of Fanatics Fest, which doesn't mean that they don't exist. It just means that I don't see reviews of Fanatics Fest, that's all. So I really wanted to prioritize it this year. And so as soon as I remembered, I bought my ticket in March. So for a 4-day ticket to Fanatics Fest, I spent a whopping $281. Yeah, it was just 4-day adult, okay? $240 plus $16.80 service fee. Gag me. For a 4-day event, it's getting up there. I'm so jaded. I do so many events. I do think 2 days was fine. Did I do and see everything? No, but I think I did plenty, and also I'm me, so I locked in. I got quite a bit done. But there was VIP options, which got you in a little bit earlier, and you got like a special lanyard and things like that. I didn't get that. My friend was going, and she had a guest pass, and she had a +1. So on Thursday, which was the first day, originally, I'm supposed to be able to get in at 1 p.m. She got me in at like 11. So I was able to walk the floor quite a bit, which it was really busy for the preview day. And I'm assuming it was mostly because those were industry people and like their kids. It was a lot of kids as well here. There was a lot of people on Thursday, but there was less people actually like in line doing things, if that makes sense. So I felt I was able to do much more on Thursday than I was able to do Friday, even though I do think overall Friday had less people across the board, but it definitely felt like there was longer lines to do things. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm explaining that well at all. Anyway, so I got in 2 hours early and just like walking in, I was like, this is insane. The line I heard and then I just kind of kept repeating was Sports Comic-Con. Now, if you watched my San Diego Comic-Con video, you know that I was deeply disappointed by San Diego Comic-Con. And you've also heard me crap on LA Comic-Con. Sports Comic-Con is probably the way to explain it as far as just the amount of stuff here, the amount of leagues here, the amount of sports represented, the amount of people that I talked to that were like, oh, was it all just like Pokemon cards? I was like, no, it was even barely Pokemon cards, I would hazard a guess to say.
Okay, so far, this is fucking insane. This, as a center, a bit of a mess. So we've been on the 3rd floor, technically, this whole time. We're trying to go down to the 1st floor. I think we're down on the 2nd floor right now, which is where food and stuff is. So much. Some of the best booth design I've seen in a while for an event like this, which is sick. We'll have to do much more filming later today and tomorrow. This is just crazy.
It's put on by Fanatics. Fanatics is the merch provider and like fan goods provider and team kit provider for quite a lot of leagues now. So pretty much everyone that was at Fanatics Fest that was a sports league is represented in Fanatics in some way. There's some type of Fanatics tie. Same with Topps cards, things like that. Okay, because Fanatics owns quite a bit of properties now. And so that's why there's so many different just stuff here. Like God, everyone was like, how was that? I'm like, it fucking rocked. Like I literally just kept saying that. I was like, it was really cool. I really liked it. My friends that are sports creators, I'm like, oh no, you're coming with me next year. Like there's no way we're not doing this again.
I already know I'm not gonna be able to see everything with being here only 2 days. So this is insane.
The Javits Center itself. I've heard horrible things about the Javits Center. And by horrible things, I mean no New Yorker or no one that I know that has ever lived in New York likes it. They all can't stand it. When I shared this online, a few of my viewers were like, no one just knows how to use the Javits Center. I love it. Okay. Sure. I will admit the bathroom situation, that's dire. That's crazy. That's a huge convention center for how few bathrooms there are. Okay? That's crazy. I do think it worked well for what this was. The floor layout was a bit tedious, but alas. So we had level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Level 4 was just Friday night. It was like a Topps event, trade-in event. I didn't go because I left. My flight was at 7 on Friday.
All right, so we made it down to the 1st floor. We found Build-A-Bear, where you can build a bear, obviously. Very cute, nice little setup. This is on the 1st floor.
Level 1 was like the basement level, and this is where they had Autograph Village, they had Photo Village, they had the Artist Alley, which was not, I don't want to say it wasn't an actual artist alley, it just wasn't an artist alley in the way that most convention goers, if you are familiar with conventions, what you think of an artist alley, I was like so excited to see that on the map. That's not what it was. So the artist alley is like a fine artist alley.
They're doing literally fine art.
And it is what it is. And I think it makes sense because like a lot of artist alleys, not all artist alleys are fan art, you know, but a lot are. And so I understand that for those of you that have never tried to do like an actual like small business that is clothing related in the sports space, licensing is a nightmare, which is why Fanatics has a lot of has those deals. They have the money to get those deals. Probably a lot of teams and stuff would not be happy about independent small business artists selling fan art of various teams and players and things like that. So what they did is they had a lot of like custom artists doing like custom artwork on, or their own style of artwork on jerseys and like paintings and things like that, which is cool. And again, still art. I want to make sure they had a photographer there as well that was showing off his artwork. Like great shots, incredible shots that I've seen before, which were very cool. But again, just not what you would think of a convention when you're thinking of Artist Alley, which I think was kind of intentional. And again, I think it makes sense with the industry that this is with sports, but just something I wanted to note. This was also where Home Team Village was. So this is where all of the local to the New York area teams were, which was very cool to have them represented like that. A couple of different other pop-ups. Cash App was down here as well.
Cash App has a robot. Oh my God.
There was one kid though, when I first walked up, he got like a good amount of shots in on that thing. He was tiny too. Locked in. There was a few things like that were down here that were cool. This is also where, like I said, autographs were.
So they got the lines here. They've got the names of who's signing at each one, which is smart. And I think pretty much all of the signings cost money. I think every autograph costs money. Which, I mean, from the convention world, like fandom convention, actors, voice actors, they all know you do 1 or 2 cons in a year, you can be set for the rest of the year. Not shocked they're charging, some of the costs I'm seeing are insane, but alas.
I think pretty much all autographs were paid. I won't lie, I'm fundamentally against paying for an autograph. Like it's just a personal gripe. I'm annoying. I'm not an autograph person to begin with, but there are plenty of people that will pay for autographs. So there are plenty of people that did. And so the lines would be crazy, and you could still see where for the autographs side of things, you could still see the lines for the signings. What they did for the photos, because that's a different payment, obviously, that was really smart. What they did is they had everyone line up, and then on the other side of a curtain is where the actual photo would happen. So if you're like, oh, I paid for this, but this athlete, people are getting photos of them from afar for free. Nope. They're behind the curtain. Good luck getting that for free. Again, someone's gonna be like, that's BS. I want to get a photo of what's his name for free. That's fine. However, they did this well, I will say. So then, second floor. This is where all the food was. This is outside. This is kind of where you would be loaded into, okay? Quite a few different food options. Very quick. Food truck wise, I kept getting this like pizza, and it would be like piping hot. They'd be like, yeah, it's gonna be like 7 minutes for them to cook me a pizza. Incredible. I also eat way too much pizza every time I'm in New York. Every single time. The Ninja Turtles would run me off with a stick. Okay? That's how much pizza I eat every time I'm in New York. I was in there for, I think, 72 hours. It was like 5 times. It was a lot, actually. That's crazy. And then there was seating out here. There was tables out here. There was a few different like pop-ups out here as well. And then third floor. This is where the bulk of everything was, okay? So first floor, third floor is where the bulk of everything was, okay? Third floor, you would walk in. They had giant inflatables. They had 2 of the Statue of Liberty. One was of her dunking. One was of her kicking a soccer ball. Incredible. Amazing. My job was like, I love fun branding like that. I love fun artwork pieces because like obviously something as iconic New York as Statue of Liberty, okay? To then also have it like, yeah, fit and have it's like, yeah, no, this is not just Fanatics Fest. This is Fanatics Fest in New York City. It's just so good. It was so good. I kept getting photos of them because I was so in awe of them. They had a lot of giant gear all over the place. So there was like a giant soccer ball, giant football, giant hockey puck. Very fun.
The hockey puck is extremely fun. I feel like we could have made this look a little bit more, with a little more impact, but alas, I'll take it. And of course, a soccer ball or football.
I will say across the board, I was genuinely impressed every time I walked into a booth. I go to so many events. Someone asked me here at Open Sauce, it's like, yeah, I have like 100 badges. I've counted them. How many do you think you have? Because I collect all my badges and programs and things like that. I just kind of laughed because I think ballpark, we're at 500, like across the board. And like it's not 500 events, though it could be. I should count. I feel like we're closing in on 500 because sometimes events, I get multiple lanyards for various reasons. I'm sharing this only to share. Yes, I go to too many events, okay? But that means that I've seen many a booth set up, okay? And so I was genuinely impressed by the intricacies and detailing in so many of these booths because so many times people forget your booth is not just what you have, what your company is. It's also like you want people to come into your booth. You want people to experience your booth. In an event like this, you want people to post in your booth in the modern day. I think it was Michael and Ness. They did something really smart where on the outside of their booth, they did like a bunch of stickers on the wall. It's not like overbearing. It was like really well done on the back, but it's like, yeah, it looks sick. People will take photos in the gear they just bought in front of that wall outside of your booth. You know, it's not just a blank wall, but it's like, oh, well, we got this blank wall behind our booth. We need that to block off where the register is. No, it's covered in stickers. There was a Fanatics vintage section that was sick, was so well laid out with a bunch of like vintage sports gear.
This whole fest is insane. This is crazy. These are some of the most intricate designed booths I've seen from major companies. I've never seen Starbucks, which means Starbucks, but Starbucks have their own actual activation of a booth in years, and they're doing like a ton of drops.
This is the map. There was no like paper program, there was the app, but they printed out the map with all the different layers, the levels of the Javits Center. So there's everything. So on the main floor, we had an ESPN booth. We had FIFA take over what they called the football block party. They had a massive footprint for FIFA. New York, Jersey is also where the final matches of the World Cup were being had. So very cool to have this big activation here. They had the World Cup here. The trophy. I love a trophy, guys. I took a lot of photos. There were so many trophies at this event. I love a trophy. I'm a sucker for a trophy. I got many a photo of myself in the reflection of a trophy. I'm a sucker for that.
You guys, they have the World Cup trophy here. I'm taking a photo with the World Cup trophy.
Call of Duty, F1. It was kind of like a Topps F1 thing. Ford was all here with all Enchante. Dick's had a massive kids zone. And then we got NBA, MLS, WWE, UFC, MLB. American Express had a massive thing. The NFL. NASCAR was here. They put the NASCAR over on the side, which was very funny to me. But it was just really cool to see like the amount of stuff here. And then on top of that, in the middle of the two main areas of the third floor, we had collector zones. It was mostly cards. It was not only cards. There was also a lot of signed baseballs and things like that. The amount of money that I overheard being discussed about these cards, that was crazy. The amount of money passing around at this event is fascinating. Also, seeing all the guys, their little roller cases for all their cards. It's giving first aid school. Also, side note, I mean, I was wearing a jersey. I wore my Formula One Red Bull Yuki Tsunoda shirt at one point, team kit at one point. And the second day I wore my Ferrari shirt. So like, I'm not immune from this, okay? But every time my convention brain, like I was walking around and I would see guys in like jerseys and stuff, or like holding a WWE belt on their shoulders, they were walking around. And my brain just went, oh, cute cosplay. They're dressed as their favorite player. That's so fun. Oh, I feel my voice going, oh, this is bad. Okay. Like it was just very fun. And I always think it's very fun to see how different fans like show off their love for a sport or a team or a player, an athlete. And so it's very just cool to see. And the amount of customized jerseys and, team shirts and stuff was very cool to see, and see how everyone customizes it and does stuff themselves.
All right, I am now in the UFC area. We got striking challenge. We got the octagon itself. This is insane. The line is crazy. And there's a store over there.
I like a lot of different things, okay? For those who don't know, I grew up in a baseball family. Then my mom dated a football player, okay? Retired, but you get my point. Then was in a football family. I was always into hockey because my dad took me to a game when I was 8. And there were fights on the ice and in the stands. And my dad's like, Amanda, this never happens. Greatest sport of all time. I developed motorsport brain rot in my 20s. So I've always been in like a sports family, and I've always loved sports, and I've just rediscovered more of my love of sports as an adult. But it's always very cool to see just different things. And one thing the NFL booth did that I think is so sick, and I tried to film a video of all of it, and I didn't. They had every single Super Bowl ring ever on display. As a sports girly and a lover of jewelry and a lover of tradition, that was sick as fuck. To see just the size difference over time, to see when they started doing it so that the ring could open and then you could see like the stadium build inside, to see the ring from the year I was born in 1997, it was just so cool. Up until the one that just won, the Seahawks that just won, like that was really, really cool. I was really sick. And things like that I just think are so cool to see, like the history and the tradition of sports and things like that. I just think that's so sick.
Got a little janky there with the filming, but it is really cool to see the size change across the board. Some of these are just huge.
And again, the MLB booth was sick. There was pitching things. There was all this stuff. It was so cool. The NHL, they had a bunch of stuff set up for, I think adults could do it, but like kids were really excited to like literally hit the pucks into the goal and stuff. They had all of the teams of the series represented on mannequins, which was very cool to like have it lining into their booth of all the teams of the NHL. That was very cool. So I got a photo with my LA Kings. Can we fix our consistency? Can we work on that, guys? I'm shocked we made it to the playoffs, genuinely, this past season. Alas, can we lock in? Pretty please. So for those who don't know, I'm from Orange County. My dad has season tickets to the Angels. However, my grandmother at one point had the largest collection of memorabilia of Dodgers memorabilia in California at one point. I do the Southern California sacrilegious thing of, yes, I do root for the Angels and the Dodgers. However, I love yelling at the Angels. I don't know like why you get to like get paid a lot of money to do a sport when you're bad at it. You know, that's just my thing. I'm a stickler for that. I just think if you get paid a lot of money, you should be good at your job. That's like a weird thing in sports. I understand to have that belief. Obviously, Dodgers, they're the current world champions. So I kept seeing Dodgers gear all the time, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll find something Angels for my dad. Nothing. Literally nothing. You know what I got, Angels-wise? AT&T for being one of my phones, not both of my phones, one of my phones. Yes, I have 2 phones. I'm a content creator. I'm annoying. Is on AT&T. And so for being on the AT&T plan, they gave us like a goodie bag. And in it was a giant box of cards. Okay, we went through them all stream. There's maybe 1 or 2 Angels players in the 8 decks that I went through. One thing the WWE did that I thought was really cool, because they had belts. They also had a giant belt. The giant belt was really cool. I thought it was just like a board of like the front of the belt, but no, I went around the back at one point. I was like, oh my God, wait, it's literally like a giant sized up version of the belt. Like it literally wraps around. It's like a full belt. It's so sick. It's so cool. I love when they do that.
It's funny, I didn't realize they went all the way around with it. That's crazy.
There was also a wall outside of the WWE booth, because it's like a massive area. Like booth is being a little chill about it. But they had a whole display of, originally when I was walking, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like all the belts ever. No, they made belts for like every major team of all the leagues. So like Dodgers is there, a bunch of NFL teams. It was just really cool. That was like really cool. I thought that was really fun. And so I was like taking videos and stuff of that. Just really cool to see like just the different ways, like the NASCAR booth, they had sim racing. If you got the best time, you could win $10,000, and also a NAS cooler, I think they were calling it. And the NAS cooler, for those who don't know, it's a cooler attached to a go-kart. So you're getting the go-kart. Also $10,000, and the cars are out there, so it's sick. The ESPN Zone, they had it so that you could get a photo of you like jumping into a ring, and then they would put it onto a card for you, so you get your own your play card. There's not really much of a backstage area at the Javits Center, or an easy way to get people subtly in and out of places. So what they have all over the place is the Walk of Fame. The Walk of Fame throughout would be literally blocked off walks that they would then close off the walk off so that you could still cross through. Then they would block it off so that athletes and guests could walk through without being mobbed. Now, mobbing did still happen, because obviously we have to get them into that area. Also, people are crazy.
It is a little hard to navigate because they're not like opening and closing it as people are coming through. They're just keeping it open depending on, I mean, they're keeping it closed for the athletes and stuff, but not for us.
The Walk of Fame was cool and not. There were times where, obviously, depending on who it was, security would just leave it closed. So then there's crowding of everyone trying to get around. There were times where I could see athletes and guests getting a little frustrated or like annoyed. They're probably not annoyed about the fans. They're annoyed because it's like, why am I being mobbed right now? Like, why am I, like, I have security, there's more security. How did I end up in this situation where it's like there's just a ton of people around me, or they're calling and yelling and things like that? Everything that I saw was mostly very like respectful. Let's use that. It's still a lot. It's overwhelming. I don't know how you'd fix that though for a convention center like this. They were doing this thing called Fanatics Games, which like athletes were competing in, and then also you could do the same events as everyone was doing it. It was like at all the different booths. There was a goal experience in FIFA where it's like you were trying to kick the ball into like a cutout of the trophy. How fun is that? I never did that because I would never get it. And the only real thing that I think would be a inhibitor to further staying power of this event, which they literally added Thursday to the lineup. Okay, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's how long this event goes. Not because of crowd demand. They did it, according to Michael, who is the owner of Fanatics. He said because athletes and like brands and like programming, to make room for everyone that wanted to be involved, they had to add Thursday. Not to deal with crowding, not because of ticket demands. Like I fully half expected to walk in like, there's no one here, because like hearing that in concept is like so against what most events, why they expand or why they cut off days. It's like, oh, well, no one was coming on Thursday, so we got rid of Thursday, Or, yeah, we're hoping that it'll make Saturday less psychotic if we have Thursday. So we're trying that. It's like, yeah, no, we want to get more money, so we do that. But it's like, no, not just that, literally programming and the amount of athletes that want to be involved. I was told that a bunch of stuff got moved, like the ESPYs were in New York because of this event. I was told that the Mets and Dodgers game was scheduled so that it was around this time. I don't know how true that is. But like there was a couple of things that were moved around to make room for Fanatics Fest and have it so that these athletes could be included and stuff, which is crazy. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, it's coming out soon in October. Guess who has an early access code? Guess who doesn't play COD? I have been talking about wanting to play COD because I did a whole video about the baby girlification of Ghost and Call of Duty characters forever ago. But they had a whole setup, and so they had these sick bags, and I was like really hunting for freebies this event, as I always do. I was like, oh, how do I get the bag? And they were like, so you got two options, and it was play the demo. Line was long. Or night vision experience. I'll try anything once. Night vision was cool. It was like me and like 4 dudes. And he was like, yeah, so you got to wear the night vision. And they were able to put the night vision goggles on my head and adjust them so that I could still wear my glasses with them, which was sick. And then we go inside this room, and what it is we're looking for the target list. And so you have to use a light to like see it. And you can't see without the goggles on, and you can't see without the light. And so he was like, yeah, it's a list around. Look for the list. So I look for the thing that looks like a sheet of paper on the wall. And the guy just goes, oh, she found it. Very fun. Then immediately they gave us a little card that we then hand over to get the bags. And randomly people were getting balaclavas of like the ghost balaclavas. I did not get one, alas, but I did get an early access card to play the game. It would be so funny. I don't play COD ever, and then I just play an early access beta. That'd be really funny.
I want to show you guys something that's here that is so smart to be here. The UPS Ship Your Drip booth.
Oh, UPS was here. UPS was here, and their whole thing was ship your drip. So like if you bought anything, they would ship it for you. They would help you package it up and ship it home. Because a lot of people traveled for this. There's a lot of New York locals that were, here. Why did I say it like that? Not everyone's insane like me and comes from California. But a lot of people did, because there's no events like this that have this amount of sports fandom exhibited, So a lot of people traveled. So that's so smart. UPS should do that more often for events, because I do think the amount of times that I'm insane. So I had a personal item and I carry on, and I got all my freebies in those bags. And I came here and I still have more freebies that I have to go and fly home tomorrow. Guess what? I still have room because I'm a rock star. But sometimes you just buy too much stuff, or you get too much freebies. Oh, Sports Illustrated did this thing where they had like a bunch of like their most famous covers and stuff. And they had giant cutouts where you could like be inside a cover of Sports Illustrated, which was very cool. I think one had AI art, which irritated me because it was the trophy one. Hey, Sports Illustrated, was that AI art? I did take a photo of it. I didn't take a photo in it, but like, why do we gotta use AI art? Anyways, they also had Jordan Woods' bag, her lucky bag.
Oh my God, you guys. I'm freaking out. Look who I just found at Fanatics Fest. Holy shit. Oh my God, I love your work. Oh God, amazing. You did so well.
Oh, some of the things that you got to do here. Fanatics itself had multiple little like scavenger hunt things. So they had a stamp rally. This was mostly for children, but they let me do it too, which is fun. And you could do it regardless. It was just like, clearly this was designed for kids. I loved the artwork in the booklet. It was a booklet, and it was basically like you have to go to all of these areas and find the person holding the Fanatics little lollipop, the paddle, okay, and get a sticker for your booklet, okay? And they would only give you the one for that station. And the artwork inside of it was very beautiful. I loved it. I'm glad they let me hold on to it after I finished it. And it was a good way to like get around and explore. I do think a scavenger hunt or like a stamp thing at a convention or a festival that is put on by the convention itself. I think for an event itself to do a successful scavenger hunt, they should be able to be completed by children reasonably. And I think that they are best designed to get you to explore the whole convention and not just spend money at a convention or perform at a convention. You know what I'm saying? Like a scavenger hunt where it's like to get the stamp, you have to do X, Y, and Z at each booth. No one's going to finish that. They're going to get annoyed. They're going to be pissed off at you. Something like this worked out because it was like, yes, I had to go to the NHL booth, but the person was outside the NHL booth. So if the NHL booth was busy, I didn't have to worry about it. I could just be like, hello, here's my booklet. Can I please get the NHL sticker? And you could still see a ton of the floor and explore the convention, but you're not like dependent on getting inside the booth, okay? That was the case for a lot of these. So you go up and you show them that, and then they give you a pack of cards, and they had stickers and stuff like that as well. So that was one. That one was very effective. As I was wandering around, it was like a lot of kids walking up, and it's fun for them because it's like, let me get this one. Where's this? And it's also encouraging using the map, which is smart. So then you have less people answering questions of where things are. Wink, wink. And it also forces people to find the first floor, because sometimes it's not uncommon for me to go to an event and I talk to viewers and they're like, oh my God, I had no idea there was a first floor. I had no idea there was this hall. I had no idea this was here, X, Y, and Z. So something like that, especially early on, very helpful for getting people to actually explore the convention center itself. It's very smart. The other one was inside the Fanatics app. So kids could still do this. It was still very easy, but it was through the added thing of the app. You would open your app for Fanatics Fest. It's connected to your tickets, whatever, but you activate that you're doing this little checkpoint thing, and you go around to all the booths and you just look for the QR code. Same thing. They're usually outside. There's no human monitoring it. All you have to do, scan it. Would scan it in the app, and it would mark it as you got that badge. There was 24 of them. I went all over the place to get these. Very straightforward. Then you go over, you show them that you got all 24. They let you spin a little wheel. I would have accepted a t-shirt. Instead, I got $50 in fan cash. Is fan cash a fake? I don't know yet. I ended up, by the end of this weekend, I ended up with like $157 in Fanatics cash. Apparently you can use it to bet. Sports gambling is a thing. Not here in the fan cash area, the cash bar, okay, which you could use your fan cash in. In the app, it tells you can use it for betting. I'm assuming I can't do it in various states because I'm in California. It should be interesting to see how that'll plays out. I'm always going to use it for discounts on a piece of merch. But we'll see. I talked to someone from W Fan. She was like, oh, have you guys been here before? I was like, oh no, it's my first time. She was like, I was like, how have you thought about it before? She's like, there's so much more in each booth. So like apparently Dick's expanded like crazy. Their footprint's huge. A lot of brands put a lot more money into their events and their booth setups, which makes sense. Something that a lot of people they know, but they don't know about Anime Expo. Okay, totally different event. Obviously, it just happened. It's funny. I actually heard someone who was working at a booth selling racing sim wheels, and they said that they have a friend that has vended with a different company at Anime Expo for years, and they make a bulk of their income for the year, bulk of their sales at Anime Expo. Told them, hey, if you come to Anime Expo without something to sell, you're wasting your time. You have to have stuff to sell. People want to buy stuff from Anime Expo. They want to spend money. You will sell out quickly. Have stuff to sell. And a lot of people, a lot of brands, a lot of companies sell like crazy during Anime Expo. I don't see why this can't be the same thing for all of these brands here. Just because, and again, I know I say that as I talk about the economy and how I've talked about the economy previously. But the reality is that people want, I've talked about this, people want in-person events, but they also want niche down events. The all-in-one event doesn't work anymore, okay? We see how it crashes and fails. An anime event, a mad science makers fair for content creators and just builders, okay? Sports Comic-Con, that is niche down enough and still having plenty of variation. People are turning out in droves for this, okay? Card collectors, sports fans, people that want autographs, people that want to have a fun weekend with their kids, Like, there's so many people that fits into Sports Comic-Con. You know what I'm saying? Putting this event on is super goddamn expensive. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt they're hemorrhaging money. But the amount of goodwill, the amount of favor that can grow with these connections with the existing brands, the amount of success of Fanatics Fest being like, well, we need to be there. So how do we get in? Well, you need to give us access to your players so we can put them on Topps cards. I don't know. Okay, I think that's a cue for I need to wrap up. No, I really enjoyed Fanatics Fest. I will 100% be going back again. I do think 2 days was plenty. So I do think a 1 day is plenty if you would like that. I'm curious how the crowds cleared up. I'm curious to see what else happened. The only thing that I saw that I missed, that I wish I was there for, and it was the day that I left. It just literally happened, I think, within 40 minutes of me leaving the convention center. Kind of wanted to see Tom Brady slap Logan Paul in person. That would have been really cool. Alas, I was already on my way to my hotel to go to the airport. It's just very cool as a sports fan to see like just such a variety and see, how everyone decks out their merch and their jerseys and team kits and things like that is always really cool. But that's going to be it. Have you ever heard of Fanatics Fest? Did you want to go to Fanatics Fest but you didn't know what's happening this weekend? Is there a sport, team, org that you would like to see represented at Fanatics Fest? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder to on Twitch. Reminder Swell Entertainment is now available on Spotify, Metrico, Early Pop Go if you like some more car and motorsport content. Shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting my channel memberships. If you also explore my channel memberships, go ahead and link join down below. Like to me on social media. It'll be all up here. That's gonna have a day. Goodbye. That wasn't a wink. I don't know what happened there. Hey, New York Sirens. Hi. Nice to meet you guys. You guys were so cool. Who won that signed hockey puck? Because that was really cool and I kind of wanted that. I'm not a big signature person, but a signed hockey puck looks sick. Okay, that's all. Bye.